somehow Air-Deraan returned.
We may have been stricken down last time, but the real masters of an Air-Deraan had at least 5 of us each in their clone tanks. And we might be, out of them a little early, but there was a shortage of manpower, so we will have to do. I am Vojta.
And I am Freddy.
And we are bloody just a couple of podcasting rookies trying to earn their stripes in the internet wars.
Indeed. Funny you should say that, because we're going off to war now.
You're saying that me and my batchers are going to go and try to become something other than shinies.
That almost
sounded like I said Chinese.
Yes. That's not canon. you can redub yourself. But yes, we are going to dirty up our shiny armor and delve straight into the crater-filled episode of this show. Not this show.
Yeah.
The show we didn't make.
Yeah, this is the Bodhi Rookies episode of our podcast.
Yes, because we are talking, or brandy bucking, about the episode Rookies, which is episode, I want to say 5?
I'm pretty sure it's episode 5, yes.
Funny it's episode 5, because it's got, someone has got that number in the name. So episode 5 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which is the show we're chronicling.
Yeah, and indeed the clones, including the ones whose name is Fives.
Oh god, that's a bit of a spoiler. We haven't even got to that.
Lord, isn't this funny? Isn't this spoiling the thing that we're going to be talking about like in 5 seconds? There it is again.
Oh my god.
Shame that this is episode 16 and not 15, because there would be another 5 in the title, boy.
Minus the pilot, which is already always counted.
Well, yes, but the pilot was the movie. That's the problem.
No, the pilot of this entire show.
Oh yeah, maybe. I mean, if
we're not renumbering.
If we're being real, I mean, does the Kathleen Kennedy episode even count?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
It does count. It's a good episode.
It does count too.
Like this episode.
So far, I don't think that we can call this what we've been saying good, but...
No, I meant this episode of the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That was
a
good.
Good episode.
It was good.
Yeah.
I suppose we should just lay out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Probably tell, we're not exactly, I was going to say in our form, but we sort of are. I mean, like, going straight to it.
But we are bloody... high in spirit.
High water.
Come hell or high water, we're gonna be talking about this and we're gonna have a laugh, and hopefully you too.
Yeah, so we're gonna first go into our Grand Admiral thoughts.
Yeah, where we talk about our non-spoilery thoughts about this episode, even though it's 13 years old.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, imagine that.
They're older than the clones.
Yes, it really is.
Then we'll
especially these ones, because they're bloody rookies.
Oh, they're bloody shinies! Then we're going into Crochet Granite, the segment that we have kept the joke name for.
Yeah, where we very quickly blitz through the episode's plot. Then we go into the opposite of Crochet Granite, the nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty.
Where we bloody pick everything apart. Like it's knitted and we pull at every string.
Whoa, every thread.
Every threat.
Whoa.
Like every menace, even if it's hidden as a phantom.
Whoa. I feel like some of those are later episodes.
Well,
hidden enemy. Never mind.
No, I'm talking about Phantom Menace, which is a much earlier episode.
That is a much earlier movie, but it is an episode.
It's both.
Both is good.
Phantom Menace isn't, though.
No, Phantom Menace is fine.
Yeah, it's probably one of the worst ones, though.
I think Attack of the Clones is worse.
I disagree, but should we talk about that in Grand Admiral Thoughts?
Okay.
Technically, we're not in Grand Admiral Thoughts because we didn't finish going through what even the episode schedule
Yeah,
is.
and then finally at the very end of this episode, we're going to go into...
the Tag and Bink Watch!
I suppose we can.
Well, they died last episode, but Tag and Bink are always around. So.
I'm not giving any spoilers to who they could be this time, but let's just say it could be a similar outcome. And then we're going into light side,
the dark,
dark side,
and the one in the middle,
the Bendu. Indeed. And then this podcast will end. Not for good, or will it? No, it's not. Sorry.
I sure hope not.
No, it's not going to end. Because we've got a ton of Star Wars left. It's fun though.
We have at least 3 more years of Clone Wars left.
Oh my god. If we go at this...
If we go at this speed, it's slightly less than 3 years.
Jesus Christ. There's going to be a reboot of Clone Wars by this point.
Probably.
So...
There's going to be a new trilogy by then.
God. Ryan Johnson. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Not Gareth Edwards, sadly.
Gareth Edwards got fired.
By Disney?
Yeah, like halfway through Rogue One.
Oh yeah,
more than halfway through. That's why he is
credited first
director. Because if you need to shoot half of the at least more than a half of the film in order to be credited as director.
Do you know that from the Superman 2 episode of Caravan of Garbage?
I did. But also because that's what happened with Solo and also with Rogue One.
Did bloody Lord and Miller shoot that much of the movie?
They did, and that's why they had to reshoot.
Okay, fair.
They almost finished, and then they had to just completely redo most of the film.
Were Tag and Bink in their version?
I would say yes, but it's hard to tell because the deleted scenes they're a different tone, but you can't tell if that's the tone of the Lord and Miller version because we never saw the Lord and Miller version because most of it got purged.
Yeah.
Because it's.
And I don't think that we've heard anything about Tag and Bink from those two. Like the only thing we've heard about them was
Ron Howard.
Tweeting.
So maybe the Tag and Bink is a Ron Howard shot scene.
Maybe.
But then the tone change is probably why it wasn't in the final film.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a shame because I like that scene.
I like Solo, so I'm not gonna say bloody Ron Howard, but
yeah. But Ron Howard is the father of...
Todd Howard.
Not Todd Howard. The other person...
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
One of the better bloody directors of The Mandalorian.
Indeed.
One of the 16 best directors of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Guess who's at the bottom?
Sadly, probably.
If I'm being honest.
But that's just because everyone else is super good.
Yeah. I think Rick Famuyiwa, is that how I pronounce his surname? I think he's the best one.
The one who directed The Believer as well as...
The Egg one.
The Egg one?
Yeah.
I thought that the Egg one was bloody Mr. Ant-Man.
No, the Egg one in season 1.
Oh, Mr. Jawa.
The Jawa one. Mr. Jawa himself.
It's not the Mudhorn, is it?
Yes, it is the Mudhorn one.
Is it called the
Mudhorn? It's not called the Mudhorn. It's probably called...
The Child?
I don't know, actually.
It might be, actually.
The episode.
We're
figuring it out, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe, talking about episodes, maybe we should actually do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, since we're 10 minutes in, let's start
the
episode.
Okay, let's start with Grand Admiral thoughts. I like Rookies, even though we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
I really like this episode. It's one of my favourite Clone Wars episodes.
Yeah, it is actually the episode that I've rewatched the most times.
Yeah.
Partially because the only other episode I've rewatched before was The Ambush.
Yes, which I think Ambush is serviceable.
It's serviceable. It's the first episode. It does its job.
Indeed.
It has Yoda in it. I like Yoda.
I reckon Ambush can probably be the one most replayed in Cartoon Network.
Possibly.
Because I feel like that works.
Yeah, it has like everything about it. It's more child friendly than the Malevolence for sure.
They're not going to replay bloody Rise of Malevolence all the time, are they? But I think Rookies sort of encapsulates everything about Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Like it has everything that it is. It has.
Well, it doesn't have any lightsaber.
No, it doesn't have lightsabers.
Which is like the one thing it's missing. But honestly,
I don't care.
That is not nearly the best thing about Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It might, at some points be more about it than the other things.
Look,
but
the best part about Clone Wars is D. Bradley Baker talking to himself for half an hour.
Which is, other than like 1-2 minute segment, literally what this is.
Yes, and he's very good.
He's very good, yeah. If that didn't make sense to you, D. Bradley Baker is the person who voices literally all the clones.
Yeah.
And in this episode, there was a heck ton of clones.
8 to be... Well, actually, no. 10. Because including 2 other people, who we'll get into in the spoiler thoughts.
There were 9 named clones and a bunch of unnamed ones.
Believe there were only 2 unnamed ones.
Well, there was a couple. Just
a couple
there
is
were
2.
some.
Yeah.
There were... Well, there weren't a couple as far as I know.
Well, that would be masturbation.
That's still up to debate.
Okay. So, you like this episode?
I like this episode a lot. Actually, like, for a couple of years in high school, me and my friends, that was our May the 4th tradition, watching Rookies. You like this episode too, I assume?
I do. It looks good as well.
It looks pretty dang great. Like,
yeah.
Like, from memory, like, last time I watched this, I was like, this aged so poorly.
Yeah.
But that was because, like, at that time, like, Rebels was coming out.
Yeah.
And, like,
Rebels looks kind of good, actually, in hindsight.
Yeah, like, the style change was a little jarring. Din jarring. And, you know, a couple design choices were highly questionable.
Like tall Star Destroyers. Like long-necked Star Destroyers.
Long Star Destroyers.
Thin
lightsabers.
I don't mind thin lightsabers.
Rebels Anakin, Rebels Yoda,
Rebels Bo-Katan.
And probably some other things.
Yeah.
But Rebels looks really good.
Yeah.
It has a lot of great space stuff. And this also has a lot of great space shots.
Does. I am wondering, though, when is like season 1 of Clone Wars is always reputed to look like dog shit, isn't it? It's like meant to look like, oh, it's really flat, it looks really bad, you know, the animation clearly evolves over time, where it's like, where are the episodes where it looks bad? Like, I think so far the quote unquote worst looking thing so far in Clone Wars, in the Clone Chronicles that we're doing, is, I would say, the movie.
Well, not all of the movie.
No, I know, that's what I mean. Like, the movie has some pretty great, like...
the Christoph says almost every shot is a painting.
Yeah, the moon in the background with Asajj Ventress dueling with Kenobi, that's pretty cool.
That being said, we have discussed that a lot of the stuff in the latter half does not quite look as good.
The sand.
Yeah. You know, the moon in the fight on Teth look great. But, like, some of the textures of the buildings weren't that great.
Yeah.
The sand again, and Jabba's palace was a bit lackluster.
Whereas in this episode, I think the textures look good.
But every time we see a Venator, I swear to God, they look better than before.
Yeah, I know. And even, like, this episode has a lot of close-ups on clones' faces. Mm-hmm. And it looks good.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but they look more like... they look more like Tamara Morrison than they did before. I know they don't look that much like him.
That being said, we are watching episodes that include like some director's cuts, so it's possible. It's possible that they may have been slightly touched up for like the re-releases, which is the thing that happens a lot in Japan, for example.
Yeah, but I feel like re-rendering everything would cost a lot of money.
Probably.
And a lot of time.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know. But I just don't feel like I remember it looking this good.
Neither. I got a feeling that these might be the core uncompressed files. The uncompressed version. Rather than a re-exported version. Because for TV, it's going to be compressed. I imagine that in Europe, it will probably be the American version that we saw. And as we all know, American TV looks like dog shit. Because it does. And
of course, let's not forget it was TV 10 years ago.
TV 10 years ago, yeah. So...
And I'll probably watch it like 360p.
I first watched Clone Wars on a fucking analog, like, CRTV. So...
Same, probably.
It's weird watching it on a high-def, like, computer screen.
Yeah.
But
you know, some things definitely, if you compare it to like the final season of Clone Wars, Wars.
Yeah, definitely.
There is a world of difference, but there would be because they're 12
They're
years
12
apart.
years apart. So I think it's super impressive still how decent it looks. I think the lighting helps a lot.
For example, like when we were talking about Rising Malevolence, or the other way around.
Rising Malevolence, but I think was the lighting one.
Where everything was bathed in super atmospheric red light and everything looked fantastic. Whereas in the Ambush, there wasn't really any interesting lighting at all.
No, it's pretty far, apart from in the cave. I think the cave looked quite cool.
Yeah, apart from in the cave. So everything looked a little bit less good.
Yeah.
And probably also because it was a setting that got used only once. They couldn't afford to put that much effort into it. Whereas Venators are in every episode.
Yeah.
And there are at least 5 of them.
And in this episode, you don't visit it again, but it is nighttime. And spoiler alert, but not spoiler alert, for all media, darkness is not just used for this, but it also does like help cover up poor texturing or poor modeling.
Yeah, that's why you pretty much only ever see the 1998 Godzilla during the night.
Yeah, because it doesn't look good.
Yeah, because if it was the daytime, it would look like Yoshi.
Should we just to go into Crochet Granite and sum up what happens in this episode? What it's all about?
Why not? We might as well, so that we can be a bit freer with what we're talking about in nitty-gritty. Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, so this episode revolves around this listening outpost on the moon of Rishi. There's
a bunch of clones.
There's about 10 clones around about, and they're all they're all new. They haven't finished their basic training.
One could say that they're rookies.
Yes, hence the title. Yeah, none of them have finished their basic training apart from the leader, the sergeant, and the listening outpost is important because it's basically one of the gateways to get to Camino.
Where all the clones are created.
Indeed. And
so if, hypothetically, let's say...
Ben Shapiro.
Say hypothetically that the separatist levels were rising, wouldn't you just sell your outposts and move to... Let's not continue with this. Yeah, so if there was an invasion to Camino, basically the Republic would straight up lose the war. And spoiler alert, the separatists try to invade Camino. And before they would need to do that, they had to take over the listening outposts.
Because the listening outpost would presumably know... Because you have to... I think we talked about this before, probably in the Mandalorian episode, but the Camino is located in a satellite galaxy, which is above Rishi.
Yeah. The clones think there's a meteor shower, but the meteor shower are actually boarding ships full of the brand new commando droids.
Whoa!
Who massacred a couple clones and sent...
Including the sergeant.
And 4 of the rookies get out, and although one of them gets eaten by an eel immediately.
Yeah.
Eel immediately.
And, but luckily, Rex and Cody are going to be... we're doing,
a routine inspection of the listening outpost.
And they've just done a couple, and the next one on their list is the Rishi Moon outpost.
Is it a moon of a planet called Rishi?
It's a moon of a planet called Rishi.
Okay, fair.
Which first appears in...
Episode 2.
No.
In hologram.
Yeah, but it first appears in a Thrawn, I believe in the second Thrawn book, because I remember in the Thrawn source book, the Heir to the Empire source book, it has the Rishi... planet on the index, and also the Rishi species, which is owl people.
Rishi species?
Yeah, I believe they were called the Rishi with 2 eyes instead of 1 eye, which is kind of dumb.
On which side?
R-I-I-S, I think. I don't know.
Cool. Droids invade, they have to beat them back, and they do.
Yes.
End of story. And they get commended for it, the last 2 clones that survive. Those being Echo
and Fives.
Who, spoiler alert, are actually pretty important.
They appear quite a lot, you'll be surprised.
Yeah, not counting Rex and Cody, they're probably the most prominent clones.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. They don't appear that much at the very start of the show. It's more towards the latter half.
Yeah, I think they don't appear again until season 3.
Yeah.
And Fives is like most prominently featured in season 6.
Yeah.
Where there's basically a whole arc centered around him, which especially in episode 6
It's a
says
very
a lot
good
because
arc.
that's a quarter of that entire season.
Yeah, I would say it's one of my favorite arcs.
Yeah.
One of the best arcs.
I would tend to agree. And similarly, Echo or Echoes, is it Echo or Echoes?
Echo.
Echoes is a stand in JoJo's Part 4. Echo is very prominent in like a third, well, like more like an eighth of that soon.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, we're gonna be talking about him very soon again. Because he is a newfangled member of the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Air horns. I'm gonna insert some into the
Not
actual
too
episode.
loud because you'll hurt people's ears.
Don't worry.
Also, I have bad news. Rishi is not in the Galactic North. Rishi is in the Abrion sector, which is the same sector as Scarif. That has Scarif in it.
Oh, fun.
Which is in the Outer Rim, near Hypori.
Hyperborea. Huh.
Yeah, Hyperborea, indeed.
Actually, I may have been thinking about Balmora.
Balmora is towards the Galactic North, yeah.
Well, me then.
I think it is, at least. Yeah, but they mentioned Balmora in this episode. I suppose that now it's time to go to nitty gritty because I just destroyed Voiter in a vibe check move. I don't know, is that how the kids use it nowadays?
I don't think so. You say kids, but like the person I've heard use the phrase vibe check the most is like 19.
Yeah, well, I'm 20, so that's a child in my eyes.
I'm 22, so you're a child in my eyes.
Bruh. How can I use bruh but don't understand vibe check?
I feel like bruh is a bit older than vibe check. Bruh has been around for, at the very least, since like 2014.
I suppose, yeah.
Because they used the word in How I Met Your Mother, which ended around that time. Or was it like 26? It doesn't matter.
I wonder when people said like absolute mood. Like when do people start saying mood?
It was like 2 years ago, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine time traveling to like 1920 and just like, oh, what a mood. And
A lot of people would see how much they can get away with like saying like I'm gay in 1920 would be like, yeah, I'm happy. So they could probably get away with a lot.
Yeah.
They would probably have to like watch their tongue less, especially with the N-word.
Oh my god. Jesus. Yeah, the N-word being Nibre!
Yes!
So there's a Nibre in this episode!
We had a King Neeb sighting!
Oh my god, King Neeb is back.
I mean, there was only one of him, so
There
who knows
was.
that it wasn't a special Neeb.
Exactly. But yeah, I completely forgot how prominent Nibres are in Star Wars.
This is at least the third time we've seen them in the series.
Yeah, which is more than I would think, considering we're only in episode 5.
Honestly, it's probably gonna go down a lot from here.
Yeah, it's gonna, for all you Nibre fans, it's gonna go down. It's downhill from here.
Yeah, dark times are coming.
Yes.
For all I know, we're not going to see them until AP5 goes for his spacewalk.
That is true. I have not checked the appearances on Wikipedia because I don't want to be spoiled. I don't want to be spoiled. I want to get excited if I see Nibre.
Yeah, same.
I
want to be much unlike I won't be excited next time I read that story where the clone contrail saves Darth Vader from a rogue laser blast. Fun fact also, that story featured the super weapon the Tarkin.
The Tarkin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the prototype Death Star?
No, it's like a 1.5 Death Star.
Oh god.
It's like a stripped down Death Star, which is like if you took. It kind of looks like if you took a Star Destroyer and like ticked it like with the so that it's pointing down, and where the bridge was there, you put like the dish from the Death Star.
Yeah.
And made it very chunky. That's what the Tarkin kind of looks like.
Alright, that reminds me of one of the other one, the Sun Crusher.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite like the Sun Crusher because the Sun Crusher kind of looks like Slave One.
Yeah.
Whereas this and I don't think that it's that big.
No, it's tiny and it's indestructible.
Fun.
It flies through a sun or something.
Is that how it crushes suns?
I don't know. I thought it was like not good.
Yeah, like Star Wars has a real super weapon problem.
Hopefully, new canon one. I imagine if they did it in the sequel trilogy.
As far as I can remember, there aren't really any super weapons in the new canon. Apart from the unspeakable rebel super weapon, which never really existed, which was just.
Well, you have Starkiller Base.
Okay.
And every single 100,000 Star Destroyers with boom boom.
I thought you meant like expanded universe. I might be wrong anyway.
Yeah, that's why we're on Air-Deraan. I know we're not. Sorry.
We are always on air. They're wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to.
Sorry, I didn't get it. I thought I was being very smart.
How many of you guys know that on Air-Deraan is a pun about Alderaan? That is a genuine question.
Yeah.
Just I want to know.
I cut it out of the last episode, but now I really want to know.
Because I'm kind of curious. Because I've never had anybody who knows the title of our podcast ever say good pun. I haven't heard that, so I'm just worried if either it's a shit pun or if people don't realise it's a pun. I would rather it was shit than people not realise.
I feel like people have realised that it's meant to be something.
Yeah.
That it's not just on air and the Malay word for chastisement.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
we're obviously not Malayans or Malaysian.
Or are we?
I mean, there are pictures of us online.
That is also true.
I mean, we could still be white people from Malaysia, but we do talk about Cardiff a lot.
Cardiff, Malaysia?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
I don't know. Is there a Cardiff? Probably not.
There's Carthage in America. There's Athens in America.
There's Carthage in...
There's Ashens in America, probably.
Ashens is a YouTube channel.
Is he American?
No. He lives in Norwich.
Norwich Davis.
I don't know what that is.
That's the person with the most characters portrayed in Star Wars.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
Oh wait, that's a different county, Davis, isn't it?
Maybe.
That's Sussex Davis, isn't it?
Sussex Davis. Is this a joke? I actually don't know.
I'm making a joke about Warwick Davis.
Oh, f***ing hell. Oh my god.
Is
Warwickshire, though.
Warwickshire.
Yeah, and I was like, well, wait a minute. I was going through, I was like, Somerset Davis, Dorset Davis. I was like, I can't really think of it.
What other Davises do you know? There's Michael Davis from Scary Game Squad and New Canon Book Club.
I just need to have more confidence when it comes to some of your jokes. Not unlike the motto of this episode! Sorry, that's the worst segue I've ever done. But this...
You made the segue speaking of everything.
Yes, that is also true.
Yeah.
Speaking of everything, the best confidence builder is experience, unquote, in everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty fitting of this episode because these guys, they get pretty experienced after their very first mission,
after their friends get killed right in front of them.
Yeah, but honestly, I felt like they seemed more confident before they had that experience than after it.
I agree. Because there was want to fight on the front lines.
Well, that guy died.
He did die, but he sacrificed himself, so... I mean, for a good cause, that's something that's crazy about Star Wars: The Clone Wars. A guy blows himself up and dies, and that's a good thing. You should aspire to be like Heavy, kids! It's like... Oh my god. But it's I don't disagree with the moral about you gotta do what you can. But obviously kids aren't gonna be in a war, hopefully.
Hopefully not. Yeah, Clone Wars, other than the fact that obviously it glorifies
sacrifice
yourself for a good cause.
So Star Wars has done that quite a lot. And then
look at Luke, for example, and Leia.
And Holdo.
And kind of Han, if you want to argue that he knew he would get killed.
Yeah, but not John and not bloody Finn. Finn was a selfish asshole for trying to sacrifice himself. Rose says so it's true.
Yeah. Even though she almost
sacrificed
herself.
Stopping Finn from sacrificing himself.
Which maybe would have saved the Resistance, but possibly not. Who knows? In my head, it would.
Yeah. I genuinely thought Finn was going to sacrifice himself then. Like, I thought he was going to sacrifice. I think we're using the word kill himself wrong. We should say sacrifice more like.
I can splice in the word sacrifice everywhere.
But I thought Finn was going to, like, sacrifice his life to destroy that. I thought that was going to happen.
Like, if bloody Rian Johnson wanted to subvert expectations and do something bold, yeah, do that. Kill a new character.
Yeah.
Not... Kill even Luke for that matter. Who cares? Like, kill
did
everyone.
kill Luke.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Kill Leia. I thought he should have... I mean, obviously, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
But I do think the way he should have gone is just to have Leia die.
I think that they maybe considered doing that, but when she died during the filming, they were like, we can't.
Yeah, but I don't know if that should... Because she dies anyway.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, like, they planned to do either, because, like, it's not super uncommon to film, like, two versions of a story, like, two versions of an ending, and then pick one so that people don't get spoiled if there are leaks. And they maybe planned to do either, but when Carrie Fisher passed away, they were like, they thought that it would be wrong to kill her character.
I understand that.
They maybe wanted to give her, like, one last hurrah.
But maybe they shouldn't have freaking put her in a position where she should have died.
That's also good.
That's a hot take. I'm sorry.
Maybe they just could not get around putting that in.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe they just spent too much money on the explosions and everything.
They spent too much money on killing Akbar.
And also, there would be no reason for Holdo to be there if Leia wasn't out of the picture.
That's also true.
I mean, Holdo could still...
we're
talking about The Last Jedi.
Again! Oh my god. Okay, so...
We were talking about the motto of this episode, and that people sacrifice themselves too much, and they're a little inconsistent about how much do clone lives matter.
Yeah, because I'm just going to say it, they're pretty nonchalant about their friends dying. There's like... So, Cut Up, he gets eaten by a giant eel, and Echo immediately makes a snarky comment. It's like...
Looks like he got cut up.
The Heavy says, "What the hell was that?" So, kudos for Kids Show saying that. And then Echo says, "That was a giant eel. That's why we're not allowed outside." It's like, bruh, your friend just got f***ing eaten, and he got like alive. Did he? I don't know.
Yeah, same when the sergeant died. They were like, "Let's close the door." It was
Sergeant,
literally the delivery they did.
Sergeant and two other clones. Sentry got zapped to death.
Yeah, the clones died pretty violently.
So let's go through all the clones. So this is Domino Squad plus some more. So in Domino Squad, you have...
I can name all of them.
I can name all of them from memory.
Go for it, dude.
So you got Echo, you got Fives, you got Heavy, you got Droid Bait, you got... Droid Bait isn't named in this episode, but he's named in the Domino Squad arc. Mm-hmm. You got Cut Up, who's eaten by a eel. Presumably, by the way, Droid Bait dies in the corridor.
Probably.
I believe he was the head of Domino Squad during their training.
It's possible. Droid Bait was sent to look for Sentry. Maybe.
Yeah, and then you got Sarge, and you got the two unnamed clones.
Sarge
and Sentry as well. Sarge isn't his name.
The sergeant's name is 09er.
09er.
And there's also Nub.
Nub!
Like name Nub, but not.
How many clones are that? That's 8, right?
That's 7, I believe.
7.
Heavy, Echo, 5, Cut Up, Droid Bait, Nub, 09er.
And
then there's
Sentry.
Cody and Rex. No, Sentry is not his name. He's not named.
But they call him Sentry.
He's out there looking out. That's why he's Sentry, I think.
No, but
he doesn't have a name.
In the subtitles, it's a capital S.
In my subtitles were all caps.
Oh, I was watching Disney Plus.
I was watching pirated ones.
Yeah.
He's not named on the Wikipedia.
Oh, that's odd. Because they refer to him as the deck officer, not as a sentry.
Strange.
Yeah. But he's dead. He died. A lot of them die.
Yeah, everyone except Cody, Rex, Echo, and Fives freaking dies.
Yeah.
And Heavy is like the coolest one of them all because he has the big rotary blaster.
Yeah, the bloody minigun, the big minigun.
Big minigun. And he says, "You didn't say please," which as a kid I thought was the coolest line ever.
Yeah, he does have some cool lines, like his last, when the droid says,
"Do we take prisoners?"
"I don't." Boom. That was cool.
That was pretty great, and it was not a callback to a line from the movies.
Well,
Unlike at least 2 others that were in this episode.
such as?
Rex had a bad feeling about this.
I mean, that's obviously going to be in.
This is 2 episodes in a row when someone had a bad feeling about this.
I mean, every episode of Star Wars has that, so.
I think one of them doesn't, actually.
Actually, Solo doesn't, because people didn't like how Rogue One had it.
Well, Rogue One had "I have a bad," and they told him to shut up.
Yeah, and actually Solo says, "I have a good feeling about this."
Oh, yeah.
Which, again, people didn't like. Because people were like, "Oh my god, are f***ing anthology films gonna do a spin on I've got a bad feeling about this?"
First they do away with the opening crawl, and now they change the "I have a bad feeling about this."
They can't win. I appreciate how Rogue One just starts. I appreciate the mini crawl at the start of Solo because it's a new time period. I mean...
Didn't Solo have like a fake like neon light logo at the beginning?
It did, which I kind of liked because Solo is not a conventional Star Wars film at all.
It breaks so much new ground, dude.
Look. Red Letter Media probably hated it. I haven't watched their review.
They probably do.
I mean, I've got nothing against them. I'm just saying that their films aren't good.
Look, there are people who like things maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Like us with all of Star Wars.
Or them with Star Trek.
Or them with Star Trek. And there are people who hate everything for very, very minute reasons.
Yeah.
Like some people, this is completely unrelated, but like Jackson from Sandspans Radio was like, "Ant-Man broke me. I can't even enjoy movies anymore." I'm like, why?
Ant-Man.
What's
I love Ant-Man.
What is bad about Ant-Man?
Apart from the villain is, Cross is a bit forgettable.
He's not worse than Ironmonger.
I really like Ironmonger.
Exactly. But the bloody Caden Cross, not Killian Cross. I don't remember his name.
Killian is the first name of the guy from Iron Man 3.
Yeah. Who's the head of AIM?
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy, that's the actor who plays Scarecrow.
Oh, yeah.
Or is it Cillian? I think it's spelled with a C, but it's pronounced Killian.
He's probably, I don't know.
I think he's in Star Wars too. He's in something else.
He's in Dunkirk. He's in probably every Nolan film because he uses the same actors quite a lot.
Look, some people just hate things for dumb reasons.
Yeah. I know people are going to say that we're the same with The Rise of Skywalker, but I mean...
We're not.
I just don't like that film. Like,
yeah. And, some people might say that that at least I'm the same with The Last Jedi, but whilst I think that you have more positive opinions of it than I do.
I've grown to like it more now.
And I grown when I watched it.
Yeah, well, I hated it when I first saw it.
Yeah, it might be the same with me. I just don't rewatch movies as often.
Yeah, whereas I like to keep movies I like fresh.
Yeah, I will probably rewatch it fairly soon.
Yeah. For
one reason or another, but until then, I'm just going to stay cautiously optimistic that I will like it more than the first time around. Yeah. Because I will now be able to watch it a bit more in a vacuum because I don't have to keep on my toes about where the universe is going because I know that it's f***ing nowhere.
It's going nowhere. I still think we should do our discussion on how we would want the sequel trilogy, post-sequel trilogy era to be, because I have a lot of thoughts on that.
Yeah, we can make an episode where we go through not yours, but our plans for the better version of the sequels, which is also a Star Wars musical that we were planning to try to make around about a year ago.
Yeah, that confuses
before
me.
The Dark Times.
The Dark Times, indeed. Speaking of Dark Times, it's really atmospheric and nightimey on the Rishi moon.
Yeah, it looked quite nice on there.
Yeah, apart from when they zoomed in to the stars were just bigger.
The stars were just bigger, and I don't know what it is, but like when you look at like space battles from very far away, the animations look just wrong? Maybe because they turn too fast.
They look too fast, but I'm fine with that because they must be quite fast when you think about it. It's because we are not the camera's not close, so therefore the actions that they're doing, like when it's close, the camera's close, it looks slower. It's like a train. I know it's like the opposite of a train with us. Hell.
When you're closer,
Sorry.
they should be faster, right?
Yeah, but that's just not how they look. That's not how they work.
I felt like when they were looking at like the space battle at the end, which we should talk about a bit more. That looked like what spaceships moving looked like in the ambush, which was a very janky.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like in the episode after that, they looked like the best they've ever looked.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Look, I think it's because they did the animation from close up and then they scaled it down. And that's probably why actually. If the animation is the same, but the assets are scaled down, they're smaller, then they would be faster, wouldn't they?
I guess.
Because they're smaller.
Probably.
Yeah. And that makes sense to me at least. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
Smaller things are meant to move faster.
Yeah.
Which is why when you work with miniatures, you have to slow the footage down.
Yeah. So let's say you got a pivot that is made for a big spaceship, and then when you keep the pivot but make the spaceship smaller, then it's going to have to do the pivot quicker to complete the animation in the same amount of time.
I think so.
I don't know.
We're not animators.
No, we're not animators. I tried to be when I was younger. That didn't work. But
that's why you stick to maps, because geography moves slowly.
Oh, yeah.
Although water levels are getting faster and faster.
Woohoo!
Spicy.
Yeah, there's I was going to say something about the space battle.
Oh yeah. There were about 5 Venators against like 10 of the
banking
clan ships, which, as we discussed in our episode that did not end up being called Techno Union Babel, are better ships than the Venators.
I think the bigger separatist ones, like the Invisible Hand, they can outclass a Venator. But when it's just the banking clan ships, that's effectively like having just support ships. So that was the invasion fleet for Kamino.
Right. That's why they had 2 donuts, because those would be full of
troop transports. Yeah. So those ships would go. They were going to a rendezvous point to then go and invade Kamino. So presumably they would then meet with like the Invisible Hand class ships.
Wasn't there only one of those at the Battle of Coruscant?
No, there were several.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, but it's just like Grievous knew that just the support ships and the Lucre Hulks would not be able to defeat 5 Venators with full starship complements.
That's why he said that they were outgunned.
Yeah, because they probably were.
Glory.
Yeah. But I don't mind Grievous in this episode because he clearly has a plan, and in my opinion is a plan that probably didn't run by Dooku or Palpatine, because it's not within Palpatine's interests for it to succeed.
No, but can Grievous give orders to Ventress, who's a spy embedded on Kamino somehow?
It's possible. Sorry, Grievous is the head of the army, or the Separatist military. He is the leader of it. So I guess for military affairs, he can order Ventress in some ways.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not really made. I don't think there's any clear military structure for the CIS.
No, I mean, I don't know how deeply we can look into it, because even though it's a little bit more like, I don't want to say sophisticated, but like, it's not like your average kids show. There's a little bit more thought put into it, but I don't know if there's that much thought put into it.
Yeah, possibly not. But it was interesting that this is the prelude basically to the siege of the Battle of Kamino, which is in season 2. So this episode is not in chronologically is nowhere.
Well, I have a feeling that episode 1 involves a lot of things that happen about at the same time, Because if you were watching at the opening reel, is that what they were calling it? The reel, the news reel.
I think it's a reel, yeah. Because that's what you would call like those images.
The news reel, right?
Yeah.
Should we call it that?
Yeah, I always call it a reel.
Yeah.
So.
If you look at the reel, it had pictures from at least 2 or maybe even 3 other arcs that were coming up.
And also,
and a recreation of like the wide shots of the clones coming out from the end of episode 2.
Yeah. I don't think that was a recreation because they were coming out of acclimators. They were coming out.
Well, it wasn't like a direct recreation, but it was like the same vibe.
Yeah, same vibe.
Like big panning shots of clone
which was
troopers
pretty
in formation.
cool.
It was pretty cool in the movie, and it's still pretty cool in the animated version.
Yeah.
Well, in the less photorealistic animated version.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, half of the prequels was just an animated movie.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
Common Trouble. He was not a real person.
Sadly.
Yeah.
The buildings on Utapau were real.
They were. It was a miniature.
Yeah.
The prequels had more miniatures than the original trilogy. That's a fun fact.
It's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah. So whenever people say, the prequels are all CGI, is like that most of it was miniatures.
Kind of, but not really.
Yeah, Coruscant wasn't a miniature, but I believe the Geonosis arena, I think, was a miniature. Utapau was a miniature. I think Mustafar was partly a miniature.
And apparently, like, episode 1 shot more things on location than any other movie.
It shot more things on location, and they used a lot of practical effects as well.
Definitely more than bloody episode 7, which was touted to be like the big return to practical effects.
Yeah, there wasn't that many.
Yeah, and episode 1 had more of both.
Episode 1 had... if you've ever seen the behind the scenes, you can see like Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson with like lightsaber bats knocking over life-size droids, which they would then animate over the top of, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So that means they actually had a physical thing to hit, which is cool.
And it's not like in episode 3 where Ewan McGregor had to talk to a tennis ball that was about 8 feet in the air whilst fighting Grievous. There probably was a way to do it better, but I don't know if they got cocky kid or if they just got lazy.
The thing is that practical effects probably cost as much as CGI stuff.
It depends what you're making, and since they were going pretty crazy with what they were doing, like making a practical Grievous would
I think it would be impossible for 2005.
Probably depends for what. Like this crab walk, they would probably have to do that in CG anyway.
I think the only way you could do
some spinny arms that can probably be done fairly easily.
The only way Grievous could be done practically is stop motion.
Yeah, and that would look.
And it'll look weird. Yeah. So.
Look at bloody Harryhausen movies like The Voyage of Sinbad or like Jason and the Argonauts. It would look a little bit like that.
No, but I don't think that's
from like the 50s.
That's old stop motion. You can get really good stop motion, like fluid, like Kubo and 2 strings and things like that.
Like claymation Grievous.
Claymation Grievous. Oh my god.
That's cursed. No, that's blurst. That's definitely blurst. Unless they did like a Ren and Stimpy close up on him.
Oh my god.
As we discussed, was it the Adventures of a Toaster or was it?
No, the Misadventures of Flapjack.
Right.
Has similar ones.
Which is the origin point for Rick and Morty, Gravity Falls, and everything else.
And like Adventure Time as well, yeah. Indeed. Right. Should we continue talking about rookies?
Maybe we should not. Let's talk about Rick and Morty instead.
No. Okay, I just want to say, apparently Sentry does have a somewhat of a name because he's CT327.
Well, that's a number.
That's his designation.
They do call him by that designation when they are trying to reach him when he's already dead.
Yeah. One thing I find interesting about Sarge is that he's got white eyebrows and white sides of his hair.
Yeah, how old can he be?
It's probably it's probably the same age as Rex and Cody.
Yeah, I mean there might be a reason why Rex shaved his head. Maybe
he shaved his head and dyed it blonde.
Really?
Yeah, did you not notice he's got blonde hair?
No.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like, he has a buzz cut and it would look a little lighter.
No, he dyes it blonde. So all of the realistic Rex figures that have obviously Tamara Morrison's face, that he has blonde hair.
Ah, fun.
Yeah.
Well, there are two options then. Either Sarge has been through some shit and his hair got grey prematurely, or
He dyes it.
dyes it to look cool.
I think he dyes it to look cool.
It's possible. It didn't help him. He still died.
He did die like a bitch.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that. He
killed at least one circle. What a commando droid.
Yeah, commando droids are hard to kill,
Yeah, they can take a hit.
as we see in this episode.
Yeah, whereas clones, not so much.
No, they
Even though they have an armor.
They typically die very easily. But what is quite cool about the commando droids is obviously the impersonation part of this episode.
Yeah, they have voice modulators, meaning that they impersonated 09er himself, the Sarge, to try to stop Rex and Cody from coming to the inspection.
Yes.
But obviously Rex is a bit smarter than your average commando droid. Really better. And he
figures it out.
And he figures it out because because the clone droid because the commando droid says Roger at the end. And he also says we're all fine now, thank you.
Yeah, on the comm, yeah.
Which is a callback to bloody Han Solo doing the same thing.
Indeed.
And then kind of doing a very similar thing in episode 6.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So when the commando droid comes out of the base, dressed up in Sentry's armor, and
he
he's
looks like C-3PO.
It's scary just seeing that. It's kind of creepy, and
I feel like it would be creepier if we didn't know that they are clone droids.
But what's funny is that obviously Rex figures it out, but he hears the Sentry droid say Roger, Roger, and then he sees the droid attack flare that Heavy fires, and then he just shoots him in the face immediately. And as far as Cody is aware, Rex just shot a clone point blank in the face, and he's like, "Whoa, what the heck are you doing?" And it's like, "Relax, bro."
But fortunately, all the commando droids caught him in a crossfire and they immediately start shooting and don't hit them even once.
Yeah, well, that's because guns and stuff are pretty inaccurate.
Especially if you're a droid. Even if you're a high-grade commando droid, which apparently means freaking nothing.
But you see in Heavy's last stand, when he's in that small corridor and 20 battle droids are advancing on him and he's firing the rotary gun, he only hits 4. It's he's in a corridor. So I think guns and stuff just generally do not hit their targets.
And a lot of times when you see droids walk in that square and shooting, they usually just shoot in a straight line.
Yeah.
They don't really aim.
Yeah.
Until they do.
Yeah, so I think that's their programming still.
Yeah.
So which is fun.
Sometimes it's a little inconsistent, but it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think the droids in this episode do seem to come off as somewhat formidable in a way.
Yeah, they did throw grenades, and they just immediately assumed that they were
pulverized,
even though they were hanging from grappling hooks under the bloody landing platform.
I don't know why that reminded me of Rogue One when Jyn is hanging off the edge.
There were some explosions on tall platforms.
Indeed, and the shuttle falls down.
Galen Erso wasn't quite pulverized, but he died now.
He did die now.
Why did I say that?
I don't know.
I don't even like that phrase anymore, even though we ended probably at this point half our episodes, more like maybe a third.
With We Die Now.
We Die Now.
Yeah. There are a couple other references, 2 things.
Do tell.
So you have the bloody Grand Army of the Republic broadcast, the Voice of the Outer Rim, which would be a good podcast name, not gonna lie.
Too late. Sadly.
Yeah, too late. And they talked about the mud jumpers of the 224th on Mimban.
On Mimban.
Mimban.
I was under the impression that Mimban was an addition from bloody Solo, but apparently
it's not, because Mimban was in the first expanded universe book. The shit one. What's it called?
Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Splinter of the Mind's Eye. That planet.
By the guy who doesn't get paid anymore.
Indeed. And apparently he writes really bad Star Wars novelizations too. Because I'm not sure if I said on the podcast, but in his episode 7 novelization, this is not the junior version, which is apparently better and more accurate, like the actual novelization. Like Rey is so good at all this stuff because she's got part robot brain. Mm-hmm. That's why because there's no other way a woman could do all this stuff. She's part droid, but anyway.
But like, to be fair to that guy, he was like the first person to like at least even imply that Leia could be like
force sensitive,
or like the Jedi or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how far he did go with it because I haven't read Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
But at least he's not, he's not like a terrible person as
far as we know. Mimban first appears in Splinter of the Mind's Eye and is then referenced in obviously this episode, which is then taken from Solo as well.
Yeah, and now the Mimbanese are freaking in at least 2 things.
Yeah, well, 3 things. They're in Solo, they're in Squadrons, and they're in bloody Mandalorian.
Yeah, they bloody put a tracker on the Razor Crest.
Yeah, and
one guy.
What's kind of sad for Mimban is that it's been in constant war basically from the Clone Wars all the way through to like when Solo is.
Yeah, basically.
So the Grand Army of the Republic were presumably a liberating force for the Mimbanese against the Separatists, and then as time went on, they then became an occupying and then invading force.
Yeah, I don't want to say that Mimban is like the Middle East of Star Wars.
Sort of is because they want the Empire wanted the resources.
Yeah.
So much so that they destroyed the entire planet, basically, like ecologically. Like if you look at it in Splinter of the Mind's Eye, it's a jungle planet. I think it was a genuine they thought about this for Solo in depicting it as like a mud world, because I think that's a result of the constant war rather than that's what the ecology of the planet's meant to be. I think that's what the war has turned it into.
Well, we don't know how long the war has been going on because they call them mud jumpers in this.
Yeah.
And if they started fighting there during the Clone Wars, I don't think that it would turn into mud that quickly.
I mean...
Because this is we don't know when exactly this takes place, but we have established this like the first year.
Yeah. I think I don't know. The Mimbanese, though, their soldiers do not seem to be dressed... they have leaves and stuff on them, and like grass, like almost as camouflage, which doesn't really make sense in if a mud environment was a native environment at least.
That is true. That is fair.
But they are also mole people.
Mole people.
Yeah, they live underground as well as overground, but like they can tunnel under stuff. They are the literal Viet Cong of. No, because they have underground bases.
Sure.
What?
You said it, not me. I did say that it's the Middle East of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Both. It's
we do know that the Vietnam War is a genuine inspiration for things in Star Wars.
Ewoks.
For the Ewoks too. The Ewoks are also the Viet Cong.
Yeah, the Battle of Ewoks 2, the Battle of Endor, which technically yes.
Ewoks 3, the Battle of Saigon.
I don't remember that one. Oh, yeah. Wait, isn't Saigon Korea?
No, Saigon.
That's Ho Chi Minh's.
It's what is now Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I might have told.
Oh, I was thinking about Seoul. Never mind.
Yeah. Charles Soule.
No, Seoul, the Pixar movie.
I know.
Charles Soule, the writer of Light of the Jedi. Who's really good, as it turns out, from all the good things that he's written. He's also a lawyer.
Whoa.
Which is why he was very good at writing Daredevil. Darth Devil, my favourite. That's Darth Maul, isn't it?
Oh god, true. There's also Twilight pin-up girls like posters in the base. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I saw some pin-up posters, but I didn't notice that they were...
I think they were Twi'leks. They're normally Twi'lek.
Yeah, because Twi'leks are like they're kind of like the sex workers of Star Wars.
Yeah, but usually I would say...
Especially Bib Fortuna.
Not willingly.
Yeah.
That's sort of like that. they are very frequently enslaved in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
And I don't know if they're meant to be like the sort of like elf equivalent of Star Wars, because like everyone, I guess, seems to think that they're really attractive.
I don't know.
Because they're always like, you know, the dancers and the masseuses. You know, like they were giving a massage to Sebulba.
Oh yeah, I thought they were going to say giving a massage to R2-D2 in that one episode. Wait, I can't wait for that episode.
Is that in one of the ones that are coming up?
I don't
Downfall
know.
of the Droid?
No, I think that's episode.
Where R2-D2 gets addicted to ketamine and just hookers and...
Yeah, that's coming up.
It's probably what would happen in one of the Family Guy versions of Star Wars.
Hell, they're not funny. Why? Boba Fett being a chicken is not funny. That is all. Sorry.
I mean, I don't watch Family Guy, so...
I
watched those episodes like 10 years ago.
Yeah. I've never really watched those episodes, if I'm honest, because I don't really like Family Guy.
Me neither.
But I do like Star Wars.
I'm also very fond of Lord of the Rings.
That's Spotted Slugs reference.
Go watch Spotted Slugs by 1000 Jaguars Kong.
Indeed. There's no spotted slugs in this episode of Rookies, but there's spotted eels.
Yeah, and they eat cut up, and they get killed by a single shot from Rex.
Yeah, because Rex, I think this episode is what made Rex have the reputation of being really good.
I have a feeling that when this episode came out, I already thought that Rex was very cool.
But this like cements the fact that because you don't really see this is the first time you really see him in this season, apart from the movie.
But he was fairly cool in the movie already. He at least felt established like a badass.
Yeah, but I think he's more of a badass in this episode.
Oh yeah,
because he one-shots a giant eel. He headshots a load of droids, and he's like really cool.
He has the guns, the little pistols, which are somehow stronger than the rifles, I guess.
Yeah.
It could be like magnums or whatever.
Yeah, it's like that. He doesn't use the pistols in this episode.
I don't think he does.
No, which is very weird. He also says the Roger Roger line. I was thinking earlier actually about how it's weird that Roger Roger, that phrase in Star Wars, is so synonymous with droids.
Yeah, whereas it's like just a normal thing that soldiers maybe say.
Do they say I know they definitely say Roger, like on a walkie-talkie, like Roger that. So it's funny that Roger Roger, and I guarantee a Star Wars fan who f***ing hates the prequels would have Roger Roger synonymous with droids as like that is a product of the prequels. That is a product of the Phantom Menace. That has been the Phantom Menace is living rent free in your mind. I
mean, yes.
Yeah,
all of Star Wars
it always is. I've always got Sebulba in my mind. Always got Ben Cornelius living in my dreams.
I always have Gardula Hutt.
Gardula the Hutt. I've always got that Mohawk slave. Remember the person with the blue mohawk next to Gardula the Hutt?
I actually don't. But who I do have rent-free in my brain is the two-headed guy who says no matter what universe you're from, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, I made a meme once that says it was like it had that image and that line. And I was like, when you're in an argument with your twin head about the shortening version of yogurt, and I was like, I don't care what universe you're from, that's Gert. It was pretty bad.
You've made better memes, yeah.
Like
the ones that you post on our Twitter @on Air-Deraan.
Damn. My upvoted meme is when a bee flies near you but doesn't sting you, and it's Obi-Wan chained up when he says good job, but I scrubbed it out and so it says good bee. Oh, I got 37,000 upvotes.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Or r/prequel memes.
r/prequel memes, yeah. So it literally just said good bee. Like f***ing hell. Oh, that's my only claim to fame, guys.
Still better than what I have, which is nothing.
Oof.
Other than on Air-Deraan.
Dab!
If you're watching this after I've signed your picture at a con, Burning Con. There should be a Star Wars con called Burning Con.
Well, there was going to be Celebration last year, but that got cancelled.
Because of bloody code.
And there's not going to be a Celebration this year either. Because
Sad.
it normally takes place in May, doesn't it?
I think so. I mean, E3, the other things, Comic-Con, they're all doing bloody fandoms.
But the thing is that anything that would be at Celebration, like a panel, that they're going to reveal things, they'll just do it at D23 online, won't they?
Well, don't they only do D23 like every other year?
That is true, but
I'm
they
pretty
didn't,
sure they did it last year.
I thought they didn't do it last year. That's why we found out everything from the conference call.
The conference call?
Yeah, remember when we did the...
You mean the investor conference?
The investor conference call, yeah.
Is that a conference call?
Yeah, because if you're not one of them, you don't get a visual.
Okay.
So that's why everyone was listening to it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's your fact of the day, guys.
My fat of the day.
I was trying to say another fact of the day is Asajj Ventress was on Camino the whole time.
Do they not notice her?
I think she's underwater.
Is it because she's skinny and pale?
Yeah, she really fit in with the Kaminoan.
Do they just think that she's a really short Kaminoan?
Yes, possibly. I know the Kaminoans in Legends were really... I think we said this last episode, but they were really big on eugenics. And if you had, like, yellow eyes, you're gonna f***ing die.
Was that the Kaminoans?
Yes. They were like, you're impure, you're gonna die. That's why they love genetic stuff. They love genetic purity, which is really kind of Nazi-ish.
Yeah.
Hence why I personally believe that they were in on the entire plan for Palpatine, because I think they are pretty much like that anyway.
I don't know that they were in on the plan, but I do think that if they were, they wouldn't care, because cloning is a very good business for them.
Indeed.
And I think they made 20 million of them for the Republic.
Probably something that's insane.
Yeah, which is probably the best business they've ever had.
Yeah,
and
when
then
they said
I think they got exterminated or whatever.
They said it's in Legends they did during the Clone Rebellion, but I think in canon I feel like they might still be involved.
I don't know. I think that there's a mission on Camino in Battlefront 2 single player, but I could be wrong.
No, there's not. It's not in single player. Yeah, the planets in Battlefront 2 are Endor. You got Fondor shipyards. You got Vardos. You got bloody Takodana. You got bloody Naboo. You got Sullust and Jakku. And Cloud City for some reason. And I think that's everything in Battlefront 2. No Camino, but Camino is a map in the multiplayer though.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what
confused
me.
There is a mission in the original Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Camino, yeah.
Yeah, but that's during the Clone Rebellion.
Where when it was 501st, Vader's fist, probably against the rest of the remainder of the clones.
Against Rebel clones, yeah, that were made by Rebel Kaminoans. But that's non-canon. That didn't happen anymore.
No, sadly, because it's kind of.
I prefer that not to happen because as I said, I prefer Kaminoans being bad guys.
Yeah. Well, you got good and bad to everything.
Yeah.
But in new canon, it would still fit because the rebels never were meant to be the best of guys.
I suppose.
Because, Operation Paperclip and everything.
Yeah, but you gotta remember Operation Paperclip thing, that's our creation. That isn't canon yet.
Well, it's not canon yet, but it is canon that they work with a lot of criminals.
That is also
and
true.
Former Imperials.
Yes.
A lot of which did pretty heinous things for the Empire as well as the Rebellion.
And they didn't execute Moff Gideon when they said they did.
And
So-
they did not execute Agent Callus for exterminating all the
Oh my
majority of entire species except for one family.
Yeah, but it's okay because that one family survived.
Yeah.
And now he's one of them.
Even though he tried really hard to kill them too.
Yeah. That is yikes. When you have a guy who ordered genocide, and he's a good guy now.
Well, don't forget that Operation Paperclip resulted in the nuke.
It was...
An unspeakable American superweapon. Except this one was not a hoax.
resulted in moon landing.
That too.
Because German rocket scientists are they love rockets.
Yeah, the engineer behind the V1 and V2 rockets was drafted into American space program.
You know what? There was a V3 program, and that was there was this silo type of thing in Luxembourg, but it was like pointed at an angle directly at London. So it would like fire the rocket at London. It was like a piece of artillery embedded in a hillside. But the thing is that once it fired, they knew where the Allies knew where it was, so they just bombed it, and that's like untold amounts of money. Unfortunately, a lot of slave labor were like killed. Not killed in the bombing, but I mean killed while making the V3 silo thing. So it's like, why spend all that time to make that at the end of the war when you're clearly gonna freaking lose? I don't know.
I guess they were just getting desperate.
Yeah.
And thought that they would give them enough of an edge before they destroy it.
It's just so stupid though.
Same with the bloody Bismarck and the other ships that they couldn't friggin' use.
Yeah, Tirpitz, the Yamato, the Japanese.
I thought it was just a big ship. I didn't think that it was like a special one.
It was special because it was so big, and they poured all of their money into it. Not to be confused with the anime Starship Yamato or whatever it's called.
Well, Yamato is just a big thing in Japan. Like,
It's because it's the name of an admiral.
well, Yamato is an important name, like even in their like history and mythology, isn't it?
I don't know. I do not know the Japan.
You said it the same way that I said pilot.
Pilot, Japan. I do not know the Jojo.
Jojo.
Oh.
Is this the time where Morrison talks about literally anything?
Jojo Binks.
The Goonga named Jojo Binks.
Jojo Binks.
Jojo
Jojo Binks.
Temuera Morrison saying things in a cursed but cool way is my new favorite thing.
Yeah.
We spent like half an hour yesterday just talking about all the pronunciations of things in Star Wars that some fans hate, but if Temuera Morrison said them, everyone would love it because he's so cool.
Like Tanta V4.
Yeah.
That is the canon pronunciation, by the way.
Yeah, because he says his name like Boba or Boba.
Yeah, Boba.
So he would probably say things like how George Lucas says Gungan instead of Gungan.
Yeah.
And he would probably say nothing but laser sword. But it would still sound very cool.
Yeah.
Fennec, pass me the laser sword.
Speaking of pronunciation, Cody and Rex pronounce Rishi differently. I believe Cody says Rishi and Rex says Rishi. I'm like, bruh, they're voiced by the same guy. So...
Well, that's just a good new wrinkle for the things, because in Star Wars, you know, it would be weird if the entire galaxy said things the same way.
Yeah.
That's why it's canon that in the north of Ryloth, they're called Twi'leks, whereas in the south of Ryloth, they're called Twi'leks.
I thought it was Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere, because it's...
No.
One half is in perpetual darkness.
I don't think that's in the show, because in deep legends, the thing with Ryloth is that it's that the way it spins is like synchronous with the way it revolves around the sun, meaning that always the same side is facing their star, kind of like our moon, I think. And meaning that one of them is always scorched and one of them is always frozen, and all the Twi'leks or Twi'leks can live only in like a fairly narrow belt around like, you know, from around the Sorth and the North Pole.
Hence, one could say in the Twilight Zone.
In the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, the Twilight.
Yeah, and also on the ground.
Yes.
Whereas we see quite clearly that Ryloth is not that scorched. It's pretty dry, but
or
not
maybe
super
they
scorched.
are in the Twilight Zone.
I don't know, because you can see the sun, and it would be like at most at the very lowest
That sun's a hologram.
horizon.
It's actually
This is not Dark Souls.
It's a Ryloth conspiracy. Yeah, Ryloth's actually on a giant tree.
Yeah, Ryloth is just an Orlando, and
And Orlando.
oh my god!
Where's the puffer pigs?
The buffer pigs are the sun.
Oh my god. How did we get here?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer. That's Metal Gear 5 for you.
Speaking of suffering,
and pronunciations.
Heavy, he really didn't like being on the Rishi base. And
No,
he said he wanted to be.
On the front lines.
And he got it.
Yeah. And he was the last to die, admittedly, so he did pretty well.
Yeah.
He probably killed the most droids, because he blew up the entire base at the end, and himself. And he also had the laser minigun.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. He blasted a lot. They called them like tweezers at one point.
Tweezers?
Did you hear that? Like Rex was like, "Let's get those tweezers." I was like, "What?"
Didn't say like tin.
They say a lot of things. They say buckets. They say clankers. They say
just the classic
tweezers. Like,
They have a lot of slurs for those.
yeah, Jesus. The clones are just really prejudiced.
Yeah, against each other as well. Because don't say. I thought that it was kind of cool that they said batchers instead of brothers.
Yeah.
But then they also said brothers.
I think batcher is like if they're made in the same batch.
Right, but
whereas,
all clones are brothers.
Yeah, all clones are brothers. But if you made them in the same batch, they're your batcher.
Yeah.
Boba Fett obviously doesn't think they're brothers. That he's their brother.
They have the same face, but whatever he said in the rescue or
He's
Believe
like,
It or Not.
he said, "I have the most recognizable face." This is a callback to a certain debate that I'm not sure if I can actually mention.
I mean, why not? If
We've already talked about the man. No, I'm not going to say. No, we've already talked about the evil man, Hitler, who, and I quote, has the most recognizable face.
which I stand by.
He does have a very recognizable face. I've seen in Southeast Asia, like ice cream stands that have like Hitler's face on them,
because,
like Hitler ice cream.
Some people just don't know who he is, but they
Yeah.
know that he's important because they remember his face from somewhere.
Exactly. There's just something about that mustache.
Literally,
you got
that's why he had it.
Yeah, because
of Charlie Chaplin.
Indeed, and bloody Hardy from Laurel and Hardy had a mustache like that too.
Yeah, and Michael Jordan tried to.
Michael, I forgot that.
He tried to reclaim it, but
It didn't
I
work.
don't think, at least for another 100 years.
Yeah.
Depending on how in tune people are still going to be with our modern history.
The thing is that Hitler both killed the toothbrush mustache, but he also killed the name Adolf.
And he also killed himself.
He did kill himself. So.
Not sacrifice, unlike...
No, he gunned himself in the head because he's a little bitch.
Yes.
You heard me. That's me. God.
If anything, they should rename it bloody... No. I was gonna say the Hitler syndrome, because he is the one that's little and was angry because of it, but...
He was little.
Yeah, little bitch.
Yeah, whereas Napoleon was average sized.
Yeah, it was just propaganda that he was tiny.
It was because French measurements and English measurements were different.
Yeah, he had a BMI of 37,000. In case you haven't heard, a person got very, very, the first in line for the COVID vaccine, because apparently they were super morbidly obese. But that was because someone was meant to input their weight in centimeters, but they instead put it in feet, meaning that legally, he was 6.2 centimeters tall.
Oh my god. I wonder what Jabba's BMI is.
It's probably very different for Hutts.
Yeah, because they're longer.
They're longer, and I think they probably are just thicker.
Yeah.
I don't know if at some point in the past they were like slimmer, kind of like people in Wall-E.
Oh yeah. You think there's like buff?
I mean, there is at least one buff Hutt.
Indeed.
Gracchus the Hutt.
Who became fat in prison?
Yeah, contrary to what many people do in prison.
Yeah. Maybe he actually wasn't buff. Maybe when they look fat, they're actually hench.
Kind of like Kingpin.
Yeah.
Who looks very fat, but he's like 100% muscle.
Indeed.
In some versions, anyway. Other times he is just fat.
Yeah. I just his Into the Spider-Verse version just so comically massive.
He's so wide. He's the most absolute unit that's ever existed.
But he is 100% muscle in that, I believe, because he like killed Spider-Man with one punch. Spoilers!
When did Into the Spider-Verse come out? Even like 3 years ago?
Oh my god, 4 years ago maybe.
I think it was in our first year.
No, I don't think so.
There were like big standees for it in the cinema.
Maybe it was that. I can't remember.
I think it was because
Oh yeah, it was Christmas.
Yeah, I vaguely remember considering going to see it, but I didn't.
Oh, 2018.
Because I thought I was too good to go see an animated movie.
Bruh.
2018 was still when I was a bit bad.
Whoa, living over strip club.
That has nothing to do with it.
The Twi'lek jamming it out in the Clone Wars movie. Remember that callback, that classic. Never mind.
What are you talking about?
You were saying there was behind Zero the Hutt. There was silhouette of a Twi'lek.
Yeah, a stripper Twi'lek who was just dancing really enthusiastically.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Oh god.
Play Zero the Hutt. He's not gonna come back for a really long time.
He comes back
in season 3.
Spoilers. End of this season.
Okay, never mind then.
I think at least. But yeah. So we got the Zero the Hutt to look forward to. The character with no stereotype at all.
What is he a stereotype of?
His voice. It's kind of, I've heard that voice used before. Not
you don't have to elaborate. You probably will eventually, but you don't have to now.
No.
We've gone on a pretty long tangent about Hitler of all things.
Yes.
Let's
go back a little bit to some non-Hitlerian people. So
let's talk about more things that we want Tamara Morrison to say.
Yeah, I want him to say our podcast name.
Yeah, if he is on Cameo, and if it was like allowed, I would want him to say somehow on Air-Deraan returned. That's not even how he sounds like. Yeah. That's more like Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. Yeah. It was interesting to see how anyone pronounces on Air-Deraan, because Atat Chat says like on Air-Deraan, like Duran.
How do people pronounce Alderaan? Like
Alderaan. I don't know.
Alderaan.
How does Tarkin pronounce it? Because however Tarkin pronounces it is how it's pronounced in our intro.
He probably says like Alderaan.
I don't know. People watching would know because they listened to the start of the intro.
Hopefully.
Whoa.
Hopefully people who listen to our podcast.
Oh my god.
I don't know, maybe people just like to fall asleep to it.
Yeah, I mean...
And then get friggin...
just woken up by us shouting about Hitler.
And Santa Claus.
Now.
Let's just promise ourselves to not talk about episode 8 in the rest of this episode.
I like how you say episode 8 and not Hitler. There's one unspeakable thing we can't mention in this episode anymore. We've talked about it enough. Episode 8.
There's only one thing worse than Hitler. A child. The child.
The broom kid.
I was talking about Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah, Baby Yoda too. That's a good point.
Freddy, we just said we're not talking about that thing anymore.
I never said the title.
About the thing that shall not be named.
Yeah, it's bloody Voldemort.
Freaking
Voldemort, apparently, according to a turf.
Yeah, so that's not canon.
So I'm going to say Voldemort as much as I want.
Yeah, Voldemort.
Yeah, Voldemort. Vladimir.
Yeah.
Well, how is the Czech Tom Riddle? How does that work?
It's Tom Madevolo Raddle.
Raddle.
Oh
my God, I wonder if he's related to Yaddle.
He looks kind of like Jarl Poof.
Where is Yaddle in the High Republic?
I don't know.
Because Yaddle, you said Operancissus is on the council.
Yeah. Same as Jarl Poof.
But in Legends, Yaddle was the master of Operancissus.
It still can be true. We don't know how old Yaddle is.
Yeah.
Or if she's even... I don't think that she's been in anything other than episode 1.
That is true. So
I have a vague feeling that she wasn't, like, at least in the background of Clone Wars.
No, because she got shafted by Ahsoka saying, I know one person of this species, about Grogu, and that's Yoda. Yeah. It's like, Yaddle be like, bro, what?
I mean, and Yoda and the bloody High Republic Yoda already looks plenty cursed.
Yeah.
What is it with Yoda and always looking cursed?
Look, because he never looks like the friggin' puppet.
Even in episode 1, when he originally was a puppet, he looked cursed. For some reason, I can't say it, but in a movie that I can't talk about, he looks strange.
They claim... we're still talking about it, but we're just... I want to finish what I'm saying now.
Go for it.
I've heard people claim that it's the same puppet mould, and I've got one word to say to that. F*** off. No, it's not. And that's hyphenated, by the way, because it does not look like the Empire Strikes Back puppet at all. It looks completely different. He's got chubby cheeks. He looks fucking Alvin and the bloody Yodas. I don't know.
Chipmunk Yoda.
I was just imagining him in like a Y jumper.
For some reason, like even Clone Wars Yoda, like we love him now.
He looks nothing like Yoda.
He looks nothing like Yoda, and when it's first started coming out, I remember totally being opposed to what he looks like.
Yeah, because like his head is like twice the size of his body.
Which is like cartoons. That's kind of
It is a cartoon.
It's just Yoda. He's too. I guess he just looks too weird.
Yeah, I don't know how they nailed it in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Maybe they didn't, but it's just because it's the first one.
I think it's because you can't see most of him. Like, most of him is his gown, isn't it?
I mean, he's never naked.
As far as we know. You know, like how people claim in Wizard of Oz, like, if you look closely, you can see a munchkin hanging himself in the background. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Well, apparently that's something people say, but it's bullshit. But imagine if you look closely at Empire Strikes Back and you just see naked Yoda. Like, before he appears for the first time, like, while R2-D2 is getting spat out by that bloody fish.
Who, by the way, has a chapter in From a Certain Point of View.
Oh my god.
Apparently he saved R2-D2 from something.
No! That's dumb.
Yep. That's
what did he save him from?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope it's less dumb than the Dianoga chapter in the first From a Certain Point of View.
What happened in that?
Well, it's force sensitive.
Why?
It knows that it reincarnates.
What?
Something like that.
How can reincarnation work in Star Wars?
I don't know. Bloody Aunt Beru has a chapter from her afterlife. She has a chapter after she dies. But that's neither here nor there.
Duran.
That's our spin-off podcast about everything that isn't Star Wars.
Okay.
That's where we talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finally! And there are more dabs than Amelia has ever made.
So the agent's clone intelligence was mentioned. That's one thing. That's my Tourette's. Mention clone intelligence.
Sure.
They were mentioned.
Yeah. That's this. Well, in technically the first, but at least one of the two listening outposts that we know about that get blown up.
Yeah, the one in
Rebels. But that's a spoiler, but that's like 5 years from now, so who cares?
I think we talked about that in the last episode.
Yeah,
It was the one where Constantine was stationed. Not Constantine, the
Augustus?
other one. No.
I think that it was...
Constantine was the one on the interdictor. Titus.
Titus, yes. I knew that it was some sort of a Roman name.
Yeah.
What was it with Rebels and Roman... Well, at least 2 Roman names.
I don't know. What's the deal?
What's the deal with the bees not getting paid for their honey?
Capitalism, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, have you ever heard of Cinnabon? Anyway.
It's reasonably late for us.
Yeah.
For reasons...
Because the bloody electricity is broken and we spent ages talking about food and making food and not eating it because it was someone else who was making it. So let's bloody wrap it up.
Indeed.
Yeah, having talked about the B movie is a surefire sign that we should stop.
But light side, dark side,
and the one in the middle,
the Bendu.
What's yours, Freddy?
So to hit it off very quickly, my light side is that there's important things going on outside again. I think I've said this last episode. But like these listening outposts are important and they exist. We don't really see them, but there are these important things outside the frame of a normal Clone Wars episode. Like these would exist in other seasons of the show. It just so happens that this one we see.
Yeah, it's great to see that they're doing a lot that they can to make the universe seem greater than the scope of its stories.
Exactly, yeah.
Which... It's Star Wars, usually you really want to try to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though, like, in some ways this is like a direct continuation of the last episode because Anakin and Obi-Wan are trying to hunt down Grievous, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of also not, because it's very unrelated.
It's not really about that, yeah. No.
And the main characters from last episode are very much just bit players in this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of best of both worlds. You have some connection, and also you have the really broad scope and things happening at the same time, or maybe in the past, or whoever knows even.
Mm-hmm.
So
So yeah. What is yours?
My light side. I feel like I've done this light side a couple times, but
haven't we all?
Yeah, you said the same thing about yours.
Yeah.
But like after last week, when I was a little let down with how the second 2/3 of the Malevolence arc looked, as opposed to the first one, I was once again really pleased with how the rookies looked, especially since like I think I mentioned this too. The last time I watched it, like 2 or 3 years ago, I was a little let down by the graphics.
Yeah.
But now, as I said, like at the very beginning of the episode, the
good.
Venators probably looked better than ever.
Yeah.
The clones looked freaking great. Cody, like his armor, I mean, what the hell? Like, what is it? Like, it's so messed up. It looks so cool.
And the animation's really good as well.
The animations were really
even
good.
the droid animation is even for the B1 battle droids is really good.
Yeah, there were like really cool bits where like Heavy was like kneeling with the machine gun.
Oh yeah, that was good. Like when he was going around with that action sort of camera work. That is some great camera work in this.
And Dutch angles.
Yeah, there was a weird Dutch angle on the Venator.
Yeah,
I didn't like that, but apart from that, it was brilliant.
It was Yularen was there. He was like down the hill. Was it a symbolism of the war that's about to go downhill for the Republic?
Symbolism, because Obi-Wan's on the high ground.
Oh my god, that's just like in his duel in Rebels that we can't talk about.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we can, but we won't. Even though we can't talk about that, even that had great camera work, just like this episode.
It does.
And, not the Jedi. But this wasn't directed by Dave Filoni, so who cares? He was just the supervising director.
Yeah, that is true.
Meaning that he can get the credit for whatever the hell we want. Because he was involved. Allegedly. Anyway, what was your dark side, Fraud?
I don't... So we know Nub.
Yep.
But we don't really know Nub. Why was Nub, Sarge, and Sentry, why were they there? I was like, who are they? What are their characters? And why is like droid? This is a proper criticism, by the way. This is a non-issue. I don't actually care. I'm sorry. And like Droid Bait was like the head of Domino Squad in the prequel to this, but in the original, which is this, he literally has no character. He literally is not named, and he is part of Domino Squad. He is one of the original fives.
Right. I understand that they needed some cannon fodder, but yeah, they didn't really make us care about the ones that died other than Heavy that much.
Yeah, even Cut Up just like bye bye.
Yeah, no one cared.
Rip.
I mean, I guess that clones are bred.
Yeah, they are bred.
They're pretty tasty.
Yum.
Especially in the Nibre soup. Yeah. They are probably bred to not care about their fallen comrades that much because they're bred to die.
And Cody, when like 5 gets hit, Cody says, "Don't worry about him. He's fine. Focus on the battle." As I mean, you probably should see if he's fine. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, they have a little bit of soul. They have a little bit of agency, and they're pretty human. But they do have some programming.
Yeah.
I.e., Order 66, which we'll get to.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What is your dark side? Dark Side.
My Dark Side. Dark Side.
Yeah.
Boba Fett. McClunky. Bo Gallet. I just miss doing the Sogura voice. I'm sorry. And you possibly would have noticed this too, but there were some lines in this that just felt weirdly had very strange delivery, and in some points it felt like they had to like redub like lots of it, but forgot what the context was.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like for example, when they first escaped the base, I think it was Fives. They're like, he had a line like, "They're about to invade Camino. Camino is our home planet."
Got that right.
Or Heavy was like, "I am going to alert them with this." I was gonna say tranquilizer gun.
Yeah. This flare
gun.
I didn't mind that bit.
That bit felt like it was very much in contrast
it's
to there's no contrababble. There's no technobabble in Star Wars. They just use the thing and just expect we know it. But no, we have to be told what a flare gun is.
It's for kids.
I know, but
they
last time,
never know what a flare is.
But like last week we had because this ship is very big.
This big is a very ship.
Because this ship is very big, they have to go for 10 parsecs. Why? Who cares? But here we have this. But that's not my real issue. My real issue is that D. Bradley Baker, he probably was just like, I guess he was just overworked with this.
Maybe,
because some of the lines were just not great. Or when I think Sarge was killed, the clone who literally watched him die was like, "We need to close the door and call the Republic."
Yeah, rip in peace, Sarge.
Yeah, no one cared about you, 09er.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Why were you so old?
That is all.
That is very much all. That's my dark side. What about your one in the middle?
The Bendu. Well, I just like seeing clones in their downtime. So you got like Heavy, he's like, it's interesting. So he's like bloody arm wrestling. He beat the guy with the goatee.
I don't know his name.
He might be Nub. He might be... No, I think he's probably Droid Bait.
Maybe.
I can't remember if Droid Bait has a beard in the prequel.
We'll see next year.
We'll see next year.
Maybe.
But
unless we stop making the podcast after uni.
Oh my god.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. You got them like Echo being Echo about bloody...
Yeah, he's the nerd of the crew.
Yeah.
He was left too long in the bloody tank.
Yeah.
He's the little bitch.
Indeed.
It was... I felt bad for him. How heavy was like the jock of the group.
He was, but he was the one that killed himself. Like, I mean, sacrificed himself.
Yeah, I guess he was cool in the end.
Yeah.
Star Wars is weird about sacrifices.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan did the same thing.
That's true. Was Obi-Wan the jock of episode 4? No.
What was Fives' like character? Was he like the leadery type, even though there was a Sarge and a droid bait? Or is he just the guy?
Yeah.
The guy who's there.
The guy who says
The guy who has a palm print on his armor.
No, that's Echo.
Well, never mind then.
Because Fives has a tattoo on his head that has a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Echo has the handprint.
And that sticks around for a bit, doesn't it?
It does. He keeps it. But on Star Wars Explained said that that was to differentiate his armor from other people. But he's wearing the bloody visor. So
well, the visor is detachable.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you got Heavy and Fives. Their clone armor with helmets on, they're exactly the same. So surely you would have the handprint or the visor thing given to one of the other two.
Oh, wow.
In order to make it differentiate. So I don't think the handprint was to differentiate Echo from Fives and Heavy. I don't know why. I think it's just because Echo was the one who didn't fit in most of all. So when Rex says your armor is shiny and new, just like you, and then slap. So I love slap.
You're no longer. Oh no! Don't say that. What were we talking about?
Shiny and new, just like you.
Just like you. And now you are clones properly. They may have rushed your training to get you here, but now you're alright.
Now you're alright, yeah.
You would be a fine addition to my collection in the 501st.
Indeed, they got transferred, or he got sent there.
Yeah,
they got sent there.
They got sent to ARC Trooper training, or maybe
no,
that's
later.
Who cares? I do.
God damn it. What is the one in the middle, the Bendu?
My one in the middle, the Bendu.
Bendu.
I liked that this started the semi-trend in Clone Wars where like at least one kind of droids was introduced approximately every season.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Starting with these bloody cool guys and ending with the very weird birds in the last season, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, the commando droids, I just can't get enough of them.
They're cool. We don't see enough of them.
No, they have swords, they have proper armor that can take a hit. Vibroblades. Is that canon?
Yeah.
Probably. They have the voice modulator things. They're dude.
They're cool.
Dude. It was really cool to see like Rex do the little plot, like get them in, like hold his head so that he looks like he's trying to get in, and then do the whole Roger thing.
That was cool. I liked it.
Rex is great. I don't know why, but I always thought that Rex was Cody's superior.
Yeah, but Rex is a captain, Cody is a commander. Marshal commander, even.
Because I just don't know what commander means, I guess, or didn't know. Yeah. But he like specifically says, oh, you're gonna be in charge of this one, because why not?
Yeah.
So I thought they were like on equal levels, but Marshal Commander, I guess, is much higher than
Captain. He's in command of an entire sectoral army.
Meaning? Like...
So he's got the 224th Attack Battalion, I think. And also he's in control of the something sectoral army. I can't remember the names.
So, whereas Rex is just the captain of the 501st.
No, he's the captain of Torrent Company, which is part of the 501st.
Okay. I just don't understand war.
Yeah. War bad.
War has changed.
War never changes.
Well, those are very much competing ideologies of Fallout versus Metal Gear Solid 4.
I think we should fight it out.
Yeah, let's bloody duel to the death like we did at least once before.
On Galen Urso, that episode.
Have you rewatched it? And is that why you know, or do you just have much better memory than I?
That's just I just remember.
Oh, that's just your theory.
You may fire when ready.
The Last
Jedi.
Oh, didn't see you there. This is our Air-Deraan. This is not canon.
This is Legends.
Yeah, this is the sequel trilogy of an Air-Deraan.